You are listening to Earn Your Stripes, presented by Cardinal Spirits.
Welcome to another episode of Earn Your Stripes. I'm Max Bielefeld here with Justin Albers. Before we get started today, I'd like to thank our friends over at 10th and College, where I actually lived my senior year, rooming with Nick Zeisloff and Ryan Burton, next-door neighbors, Troy Williams, Yogi Farrell, and Colin Hartman. So we all lived there as the upperclassmen and had a great year there. I mean, all cooked together. We all hung out together, great big living room so the whole team can get over for a nice little dinner, nice little hangout. 10th and College, go sign your lease right now. They have a $150 gift card drawings going on weekly, as well as a grand prize gift of $500 if you sign a lease. So this is the hot time to sign leases. People are doing it. Don't be the last one. Trust me, that's been me before, especially at Michigan. I always put it off, and I was always had the worst room or the worst apartment. So I lucked out with 10th and College because I had a great place to live, and definitely want to go check them out yourself.
So you might say 10th and College, the chemistry built there between those meals and those times shared between teammates resulted in that Big Ten title. Is that kind of a stretch, Max, or is 10th and College kind of responsible for that Big Ten title?
10th and College builds banners. We'll go with that.
There you go. Get in there and sign your lease. We appreciate 10th and College jumping on board.
Now we get into our segment, Rules Are Rules, where we talk about some NCAA violations that kind of make you scratch your head. We've talked about before how some people have had to pay back money for eating too much spaghetti at an all-you-can-eat spaghetti bar. But the one I have today, it's interesting to me personally because I have a lot of people that will instant message me and ask me for my opinion on transfer rules and why can't they go here, and the whole transfer thing's a big mess. But so mine I'm bringing up today is about point guard Braxton Beverly from NC State, who's actually ineligible for the 2017-18 season. So he actually attended courses at Ohio State over the summer prior to Thad Matta getting fired. And the rule is when your coach gets fired, you can go wherever you want. It's just kind of a thing. So, for instance, if you watched the Michigan State-Oakland game over the weekend, you saw Kendrick Nunn, who came from Illinois. He's playing for Oakland now. John Gross is no longer the coach. But in Beverly's case, Ohio State had him take summer classes, and they say if you take summer classes, you have to actually sit out the whole year and be ineligible to your new school. So even though the coach is gone, they're trying to hold him back for a whole year for going to class, which just kind of seems pretty silly to me. And I think it's just one of those things that makes you scratch your head, and that's our rules segment. So basically, if you're not sure if your coach is going to get fired, and you don't know if you want to transfer or not, don't go to class.
Yeah, I think that really sends a bad message, Max. And I actually didn't know about this situation, but kids are trying to get ahead and get some credits out of the way in summer school, so they don't have to take as many during the basketball season. And in this particular case, Beverly was penalized because he was trying to get ahead and take those summer classes, and then the head coach that had recruited him, he thought he was going to play for, leaves or is fired. He wants to transfer. I simply don't understand. That is a good fine by you for a strange rules interpretation, because like you mentioned, when a coach is fired, a kid is allowed to transfer without sitting out a year. I don't understand, because he was trying to get ahead and further his academic future and try and make it easier on himself during the season, that it would not apply to him and he'd have to sit out a year. That's very strange, and yet another reason why I'm not a big fan of the NCAA, but that's a great fine for Rules Are Rules, Max. It's now time for our featured interview of this week's episode, and we're fortunate enough to be joined by the College Basketball National Player of the Week, Indiana's own Juwan Morgan, after his 34-point, 11-rebound performance in the overtime win over Notre Dame on Saturday. We booked Juwan before the Fort Wayne game on Monday night, so obviously we couldn't have known the results of that game. We do, of course, touch on that result in the interview with Juwan, but I think it's a conversation you're going to enjoy. We touch on a number of different topics, and you're really going to be interested to hear how many times he had to pop his shoulder back into place his freshman year when Max was playing with him. That's a tough kid like you're not going to find anywhere else. So very fun, interesting conversation with Indiana's Juwan Morgan. And without further ado, we welcome Juwan into the show.
So we got Juwan Morgan joining us today. Obviously, Juwan had a fantastic week last week, winning National Player of the Week as well as Big Ten Player of the Week. Juwan, how's it feel, man? I know it's a tough loss last night, but that had to feel pretty good to have a good week like that, right?
Yeah, it definitely was, especially just coming off a week of work that we did, just prepping for Notre Dame. It was a good feeling, and then just seeing all the recognition and everything, that it was nice. Yeah.
So my mom, when I was younger, she used to tell me, like, yeah, there's good and bad news. Which one do you want first? And I always took the bad first. So, okay, obviously you guys had a tough loss last night to IPFW in Bloomington. You guys have talent. I mean, people have seen it tested against the best teams in the nation. I watched the film today, and I'm curious your thoughts. What do you think the biggest things are to fix as a team? And I know you're a pretty smart guy, so I'm really curious what your point of view is.
I think it just comes with just making sure guys are just ready to go. Like that's the ultimate formula to get the rest of the problems fixed. Because with that, everybody will be ready. Nobody will need to get up in order to just be ready to play. And then just turnovers, have to cut down on those. That's when you can't guard a layup, people shooting wide open layups off the steals. Those are backbreakers, especially in a game like that. And then just taking away confidence, I think, will be another big thing going forward. Because if you give a team confidence, especially just hostile environment, then the basket's wide open, and then nothing. Every shot seems like it's going in.
No, definitely. I mean, I just take this for what it is. When I was watching it, when they started hitting some threes and getting on their run, I just felt like guys were all trying so hard on defense that they ended up just ball staring and then getting back cut or something, and just cheap action. You know what I mean? I'm sure Archie brought you through that today in film, but I mean, it's almost like, guys have, they just kind of settle down and get comfortable, and defensively, there's some easy things you can fix there. That's why, I'm sure being an Indiana basketball player right now isn't the most fun, just because the fans are super passionate, and it sucks because they're down and everyone's mad and angry. But I'm still a firm believer that, there's a couple easy things that need to be fixed. I mean, the turnovers are the one, I don't know, what do you think is the biggest thing that can help limit turnovers?
I just think we have to just keep making easy plays. Instead of trying to dribble through three people or make a spectacular play every trip down the floor, I think if you don't have it, just get it to somebody who might have something. And I think those plays will just continue to domino effect to the rest of the players. And then next thing you know, we're just making 5-6 great passes, getting a good look. And then that will eliminate, because you can't get a turnover if you're getting a great shot. So I think that will cut down a lot on it.
No kidding. I mean, it's just simple stuff. Duran got a rebound in the middle of the lane, and if you're the nearest guard, I think it was Rob, you got to have some awareness that he might just chuck the ball. You know what I mean? It's just the quick. Yeah. You remember we used to do hurdles back in when I was there, and if you hit the hurdle and fell, I would joke around saying awareness points. 2K has stats for everybody out there.
Everybody
I'd be awareness -1. Yeah, it's just that little awareness right there. It's such a key thing, especially for young guys. But all right, now to the good news. Now to the good news. We got that out of the way. You obviously had a great week. I don't know if it's because it was finals week, and around the country people are going through that, and you're just smarter than everyone, that everyone else is just more mentally worn out, or what. But all right, how did it feel? Just playing out of your mind well, and just winning in the fashion like that. Because I was watching it on my couch, and next thing I knew, I'm standing up an inch away from the TV. So it was just an exciting game.
Honestly, I don't even know what happened. It all just happened so fast, and I just felt like I just had to take over. And it just I felt like I just couldn't let the team down. Anytime I had the ball in my hands, I just felt like something good had to happen. And then when I missed that free throw, you would think it looked planned how perfectly the ball came off, but I think I was just trying so hard to make it. I just overthought everything, and it just was the longest miss I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's you can't practice that free throw ever, because you've never tried so hard to make a free throw in your life. Your body just doesn't know how to react. That's wild.
What's it just feel like, though, Juwan, National Player of the Week? I mean, when you hear that out loud, it's one thing, Big Ten Player of the Week, that comes around every so often, but National Player of the Week, when you consider all the talent that's around the country, I mean, when you heard that, what was your reaction and what does that mean to you?
When I first saw it, I didn't even know how to react. It was definitely a blessing, and then just all the, I guess, people just text me saying congratulations. It was really nice to see all that. But again, I really don't look at those things, and I really don't. I guess let them get to my head as far as, because things like last night can happen, and it's just all a humbling experience. I just take it all with a grain of salt, and just because at the end of the day, I'm just trying to will this team to get some more W's, and just so we can get further and further into the year. And I'm just trying to make the team better in every way I can. And if that means games like having 30-10 or whatever it was, or just having 5-5, and if we get the win either way, I'll be happy with that.
I mean, I'm buying that for sure. I mean, dude, if honestly, like when I played with you and you came in as a freshman, you'll learn this as you get older and older, but you just expect those freshmen just to be really, really dumb. And you came in there, and I'm like, who the heck is this guy? Like acting like he's 25 years old. Like I feel like I should be listening to him, and I did a couple times. You called me out on a couple things. You kept me true. So I mean, honestly, like that's why I'm so happy to see you like look comfortable. You're the one shooting the ball, and like you're kind of taking over. Just because, like, if people are following you, I think this team has some good things. So that's my little compliment of the day.
I appreciate that, Max.
Juwan, when I watch you, and I think a lot of the conversation with the coaching change over the offseason was the change in style and guys that have been in the program kind of adjusting to new roles. When I watch you, you look like a guy who's very comfortable in your role and understands what your role is. You're not roaming the perimeter as much, not shooting from the perimeter as much. You're kind of in the paint all the time, and you're having a ton of success down there. How much would you say your role is different than it was last year, and how long did it take you to kind of adjust to this new role that you're playing now in Archie's system?
Well, I think that right there is where I've had a lot of success, just because my role didn't really change. Last year, I feel like I was doing the same thing, just getting offensive boards and getting extra possessions, and then just doing all the dirty work. Besides from a couple games due to injuries where I was out on the perimeter a lot, I just feel my role is still the same. And I think that's why I've been able to have so much success with it, just because I've been doing it my whole life, and it's just something that comes natural.
I don't know if you remember or not, but I wrote an extensive feature on you when you signed with IU, just kind of about your story, not so much basketball related, but just who you were as a person and what Indiana was getting. And you told me at that time a lot of your basketball passion and your desire to pursue it at the collegiate level, high school level, whatever it might be, came from your brother Deontay, who, if you don't know the story, when he was traveling home from military basic training, traveling 70 miles an hour, hit something on the highway, and the car flipped 6 or 7 times. The doctors told him he may not be able to walk again or play basketball, but he ended up being able to recover. And you told me at that time you guys were still playing one-on-one. Can you just talk about the kind of impact your brother had on you and your pursuit of basketball and the relationship you guys have today?
Yeah, for sure. It was just like he taught me pretty much everything I knew before, and just seeing him go through that, like I just wasn't playing for me anymore. I was playing for both of us, and he was just like, when my parents like willing me away from the military and that aspect of things, they just like he was the one that told me like, look, sports can be your ticket, like that can be your calling. And then just as I got older and taller, he just helped me more and more along the lines of just honing my skills up, dribbling, shooting, passing, things like that. And even when after the accident, he was still always my number one supporter through everything he did.
Yeah, man, that's cool. I mean, you're talking about the military family, and me saying what I said before about you being a tough kid with a good shoulders. That makes sense. I mean, do you think I mean, coming from that kind of family, like how do you think that is helping you handle adversity like last night and really stay focused on a mission? Because I mean, everything you're saying right now, it's kind of bringing a smile on my face, because I feel like by the time Big Ten season really gets going, you're focused, and if guys follow you, only good things can happen. So how much do you think that helps you through adversity on the court, off the court? I mean, just kind of talk about that.
I think it helps a lot, just because I think just how my parents, or just saying, okay, this happened, all right, now let's try this. Just seeing those things and coming up with different scenarios right on spot. I think those are the best skills I got from my parents.
So you'd say handling pressure, you handle pressure better than most people on a basketball court.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. Well, what about even that last free throw? Would you consider that pressure, or you consider that just a weird, like Austin Torres? I think he had the pressure. That yours was more just, oh, wait a second, hang on, my body's throwing some chemicals at me that I'm not used to going through.
Yeah, I think that was weird, because like even while I was walking to the free throw line, I was just like, this is money, this is easy. My hands, I was like, no, that's all.
You're just like, no. Oh, and then Zach comes. All right, I never got to play with Zach, but I mean, you can't hate a guy whose game is just, hey, I'm not going to take any shots. I'm out here just to play really hard defense, dive on the floor for every ball, and anytime you mess up, I got your back. Can you talk about it for a second? Like I love playing with guys like that.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time in practice. We always look to see, because we do red versus white every day, and we always look to see what team Zach will be on, because usually that team is the team that is the least likely to be on the line after a loss. So we always just, like, we say Zach is the guy that you love to have on your team, but hate going against him, because he's always just moving. He's never really making any bonehead plays. And he just has a high basketball IQ. It's unreal, really.
Juwan, when you signed with Indiana, you mentioned a big factor of that was just you felt at home at Indiana, and you mentioned the relationship and the bond you kind of felt with Robert Johnson and James Blackman Jr. at the time, and how it kind of reminded you of Shake Milton in high school and how you guys used to play the pick and roll together. Can you kind of talk about how your relationship with Rob has evolved and grown in your three years in the program, and how that kind of natural bond that you felt initially has grown since then?
Yeah, I feel it's just grown a lot. Just from the first time I stepped on campus, I remember him texting me saying, look, whatever you need, I got you. Don't be afraid to ask. And just him reaching out like that just really meant a lot. And I just think, like, as we are on the court and things like that, like, we probably, I wouldn't say don't get along, but we probably butt heads the most out of anybody else on the team. But you would never be able to tell, because we will just talk it out right then and there, see what we need to do to fix it, and just keep rolling.
Yeah, you mentioned that bond, and we had the opportunity to talk to Thomas Bryant last week on the show, and he mentioned how you and OG and him stay in touch and are always talking to each other, motivating each other, inspiring each other. Can you talk about kind of that relationship you have with those guys now that they're gone? How difficult of an adjustment was that for you when they first left? Because obviously those are your guys, and how much have you guys stayed in touch, and how much is that their influence and their advice and things of that nature kind of helped you as you continue to grow as a player?
Yeah, I feel our relationship has just gotten better as far as with those two, and just like you said, Thomas and OG, they always are just encouraging me every single game. They text me before every game, and after every game, just same thing, different things they saw. And then same for them whenever I'm watching them, just helping them see things that they might not see when they're just right there on the court. And I think that really it was a weird adjustment period, especially just being playing with them guys, like both years that I was here, and then them being gone. It was just like kind of weird. And also just going from like kind of always just being in the background, just helping everybody do other things, and then just next you know, just being not really thrust into the spotlight, but just you're the guy now. You're one of the guys now. You have to do that. And then I guess that was just a weird adjustment period, but I think I've just took it and ran with it.
All right, Juwan, I got a tough one for you. You may not want to answer it. If you had to pick one guy to add to this year's Indiana team, would it be OG or Thomas? Ooh, pick it. And that doesn't count. That doesn't count who you like more hanging out off the court. I know, You probably pick the guy that you can go get some dinner after. But yeah, who do you got? Who do you like?
If I could add one guy,
Tell you, I'll make it easier. All right, you can add OG, you can add Thomas, or you could add me, and I'll let you pick two.
I can pick two.
Mm-hmm. OG, Thomas, or me.
Well, if we're being honest,
we're honest.
You and Thomas.
Really?
Yeah.
I was trying to set you up to pick OG and Thomas, not to have to. Wow. All right. Well,
because I just
go ahead and elaborate. Talk about that for next.
I feel like me and OG are like, kind of. I would say kind of the same player. He's just like way more explosive than me. But as far as everything else, I think we kind of just be the same person out there. But I feel like I compliment more off of you and Thomas, especially how y'all operated in the post and just being able to play off y'all. So that's where.
Yeah, I see that. And yeah, it's tough for you to average, 30 points a game when OG trying to do everything you're doing. I get that.
Just wait till we get OG on the podcast later on, and Max, you'll have to ask him a similar question: who he'd rather add to Toronto.
Does he do the same thing to you, where he goes into your room and throws shoes, or is that just to Thomas?
Oh, that's definitely Thomas, because I would beat OG up if he came in my room and threw my shoes.
Oh man! All right, next question. So I don't mean to bring back some painful memories, but I'm actually curious. Like, we know you're a guy, and when I played with you, I've never played with or against anyone that's popped his shoulder back in his socket multiple times in a week, come into games, and then made huge play. Like, how many times, if you could estimate, do you think you popped your shoulder back in last year? Because I will go back and count, and I'm curious if you can get it right. Or 2 years ago, sorry.
But freshman year?
Yeah.
Freshman year, I would honestly say probably once, none in the beginning of the year, but once Big Ten started, I would probably say 2 times a game, at least.
Oh.
Yeah. Some were worse than others, obviously, but.
So 2 times a game, we played what, like 18 games, probably in the second half of the Big Ten. So yeah, so about 40 times in the second semester. Plus practice. Because practice. Oh, I didn't count practice. Oh my God.
So probably 60 times.
That's wild. Yeah, it still gives me shivers. I mean, dude, you're one tough key, but holy cow, like, just like, Juwan, just leave it out. Like, we're good. I can't look at it anymore. Oh man, that's too funny. Hey, all right, what do you see yourself doing in 20 years, assuming you don't turn into Tom Brady and you get better with age like fine wine?
20 years.
You want to get into coaching?
Nah, I wouldn't be able to be a coach.
How come?
I respect those that can be a coach, but it's just I don't know. I don't really feel like I have the brain of a coach. If you know what I'm trying to say, like the mentality, like the thinking they have to do.
Yeah.
Like, as far as players, we just have to know what we're doing and be able to like cover for our teams. But as a coach, you have to have the whole plan for your team, as well as have a plan to stop another team, and you have to do that day in and day out. So I just don't think I would be able to do that.
Yeah, I think it's also your role, though. Like, even me, like doing my broadcasting stuff that I did and kind of breaking down things more. It's a lot easier to see the big picture when you're not a part of the picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel that.
So, like, I was watching the film and I was like, man, I got to start, like, texting you guys some stuff I see. Just, you know what I mean? Because I feel like when I was in there, like, and you're also so, like, gassed from practice. You get out and it's like, all right, watch some film on your own. I'm like, all right, this guy can shoot, this guy can't. All right, that was film. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't have the analytical mind to do it. But yeah, that's it. So no coaching. All right.
But I feel like I'll probably be on in 20 years I'd want to be in the sports broadcasting world, most likely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's my major and everything. So that'd be nice to be doing.
Hey, let me give you some advice on that. Go to the NBA, play as long as well as you can, because that's definitely how you get there. I forgot about that part.
Yeah, that's all. That's the ultimate goal, of course, getting to the NBA. So that's first and foremost.
Talking about coaching, Juwan, I mean, other than just simply their style and how they coach the game as far as offense, defense, that kind of stuff, what do you see as the biggest differences in Coach Miller from Coach Crean? I mean, personality-wise, interactions, meetings. I mean, what would you say are the biggest differences between the two?
Coach Crean was more of a philosophical coach, I would say. And then Archie's more of a, look, this is what needs to be done. This is how we're going to do it. And I think both were great coaches. They both paid great attention to the details. And then also, I think Coach Crean has like more plays as far as like for different situations. As far as Coach Archie just has the same play but different variations of getting into it. So I think that's a huge difference as well.
How has it been getting used to playing that different style of defense, just the pack line defense that you guys play now?
Oh, yeah.
It seems like that's taken a little while to get used to, but you guys are kind of growing into it. How different is that, and how difficult is it to learn after you've been in a guy's system for 2 years before, and then you shift to a whole different style of defense?
Yeah. Let me add, every time I watch you guys, Juwan, the announcer every time, and Archie Miller's pack line defense. All right, so for everyone out there isn't well versed in basketball, what is like the two biggest differences of what Archie teaches to like a Crean defense? Just the differences. Not what's better. I don't need to get into comparison, but like, what are the biggest differences?
I would say the biggest difference is like with the pack line, you're inside 3-point line unless you're guarding the ball, pretty much. And so like there should be like no driving lanes, things like that. But with Coach Crean, or with the defense we ran with Coach Crean, I feel like there was more good shooters, as well as having help behind you, so no back cuts, and guarding them pretty much as soon as they stepped over half court. So I would say those are the two biggest differences in the defenses.
All right, I got you. Good, yeah, because everyone out there is like it's the most like it's the craziest thing. It's like you guys went from like a full press to just everybody standing in the lane. I'm like, all right, it's not that big of a difference. There's just a couple little like people make it sound like it's like the biggest thing ever to happen to basketball.
Yeah, no, it's not that big of a difference, but it's definitely different, and you have to get used to it, being able to do it.
Yeah, no, Beeline was more of a pack line guy at Michigan, so I it's the same sort of thing. It's forcing people to drive into areas. There's extra hands to get a hand on the ball,
right.
And, make that tougher.
Just how different, Juwan, is it schedule-wise when, I mean, it seems like you guys are playing a ton of games in a short period of time. Not only that, but you're playing 2 Big Ten games like in December, which is unusual. What was that experience like? How different was it for you? And also, what was the fatigue factor like on Monday night after coming off that OT loss, that OT win on Saturday, a draining big-time win? What was the fatigue factor like on Monday? I mean, those quick turnarounds seem like they're probably not more often this year than they have been in the past, but it sure seems like it.
Well, starting with the Big Ten games in December, I think that was a good thing. That's kind of like a gut check in the middle of the season for the team to see where you're at, pretty much. I liked them. I liked it. It was weird, but I liked it. And then as far as the fatigue factor, I don't really like to think about that because other teams are playing just as many games as us, and they're coming off quick turnarounds as well. So and they were ready to play. So I don't like to really think of fatigue being as a factor. But I just think if it is, you have to do more to get yourself ready, and especially with the team we have, we just have to do more to be ready because you just can't turn it on and off when you want to.
We'll let you go on this, Juwan, and we really appreciate you taking the time to do this. How do you see this season kind of shaking out now that you like you mentioned, you played 2 Big Ten games. You still have a couple games before the heart of the Big Ten season comes, but it seems like for the most part, the Big Ten's pretty wide open this year. A lot of teams are at a similar level, so it figures that there'll be a lot of close games. How do you see it shaking out, and how do you think your guys' experience playing in close games so far, especially on Saturday, will benefit you going forward?
I think we'll be just fine. I think we've been progressing as a team. We took a huge step back yesterday, but we just have to pick ourselves back up. And I think we were on the right track as far as putting full games together at those laps against like Duke and Louisville, where we were right there in the game in the last couple minutes, and then we just gave it away. But I think we were really doing the things that needed to be done to put ourselves in a position to win the games at the end of the game.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are right there. It's like, I mean, when I played with you, obviously we had a lot better second half of the season than we did first. So, I mean, it's got to be exciting for you to get to the heart of the Big Ten season, and you almost forge your next identity because, yeah, I mean, you guys have a close to 500 record right now, but you basically, if you go, there's 18 Big Ten games this year and you're 1-1. I mean, if you win 12, 13 of those, I mean, that's a complete game changer. You know what I mean? It's got to be kind of exciting to have an opportunity to forge that next identity, right?
Yeah, it's really exciting. And then going back to what you said, freshman year, just how we just turned it around completely, especially just after losing all those games, like at the beginning of the year, and just turning it around completely. I think it gives a different sense of hope just because I've been in that situation. So I think that'll be a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely for sure. Would you guys please go into Wisconsin and finally knock off the injured Badgers? They're limping, and Hoosier fans have been waiting like for millenniums to try to win in that freaking Kohl Center. So would you go in there and get a win to start it off and build something off that, please?
That's the plan. That's the plan, to go in there and do this.
All right, Juwan. Hey, appreciate you talking to us today. It was a lot of fun, man.
Thanks, Juwan.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it, man.
Yep.
That's it for this episode of Earn Your Stripes. Special thanks to the National Player of the Week in college basketball, Juwan Morgan, for taking time to join us, discuss things so far this season and what's still to come. The junior forward has been Indiana's most consistent player this year. It was a blast having him on. Thanks to my co-host, Max Bielfeldt. And thanks to our presenting sponsor, Cardinal Spirits. Get in there, try out not only what they provide in the distillery, which is some great vodka, tiki rum, spiced rum, anything you could imagine. And they have simple 2-ingredient cocktail recipes that you can make during a media timeout, get back to the couch, and not miss any of the Indiana game that you're watching. So check them out, cardinalspirits.com. You can see the full list of products that they provide. They also have a great food menu that uses locally grown, fresh ingredients. So you want to get in there and try. They have a holiday gift pack, 3 bottles, and you also receive a gift card for a future purchase if you get one of those 3-bottle gift packs. Perfect Christmas gift for a loved one. Next time you're in town for an IU game, make sure you check out Cardinal Spirits. Take a bottle home for a loved one. Maybe sign up for a distillery tour, or you could win a free distillery tour by joining in our Facebook competitions that happen periodically. But that's it for today's episode. Again, thanks for listening. We'll be back with one more episode this week, either Thursday or Friday, and then it'll be Christmas week, and we'll take a week off. But hope you're enjoying the podcast. Let us know what you think. Tweet at us, email me, jmalbers@indiana.edu with some feedback. And of course, please subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, wherever you may listen to your podcast, and leave a 5-star review if you would. We would really appreciate it. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Save me the time.